Hello, YouTube and Facebook followers. It's Bobblehead from the Bobblehead Scale Rod Shop. Going live tonight. I'm gonna send out a message. Hopefully, get some folks on here. Hey, dude. Not much up. Just going live tonight. Missed it last night. Or last week, I mean. Just been working on this truck. Hit a stall block with work. So, got to get a little bit caught up. As you can tell, got the engine painted. It's a big Ford big block, so painted it Ford red, orange-ish red. And then my own mix of gray for the transmission, because I think that's a whole lot better looking than having aluminum color. I think this is more realistic. And then aluminum color for the heads and all that. Great. Locked up the bottle top. One thing I did notice about the heads to the intake manifold on this pickup truck kit is that there was a nice little gap and I had to fill it in. you wouldn't be able to see the gaps, but I know that they're there, so that's why I painted them. Okay, that's on. Time to paint that up. What's up, Redneck? Again, welcome everybody to the show. I see more than one's taking part in the chat on. I want to include everybody. Hey, Ron. Sitting in the easy chair. Yeah. This is my easy chair. Working on the models. Yeah, drilled the hole for the fuel line. Hey, John. Alright, time to get some black paint. Some gloss. Black. There it is. You guys didn't get to see it last week. But there's the chassis. All of its blue glory. I'm actually going to paint the fuel tank tonight too. I'm actually decided I'm going to keep the rear bumper in the chrome. I just think it would give it a nicer look. Yeah, Ron, 3 projects I've got. I keep growing projects. I grow more projects than I grow builds, finished builds. I started, since the last show, started messing with trying to get my 150 Ford Coupe done, and then I started messing with another model, and then I actually did get something done for a customer. And so I was lucky that it was a small build for him. I haven't had many small builds for customers lately. It was a pleasure to get one that he had built the body and chassis of a 48 Ford, and he wanted a really nice motor in it and drivetrain. So I did the motor and drivetrain, and it actually turned out really, really nice. Hopefully I can get pictures from him. He's picked it up and then had to fly out of the country, so he travels for work. So hopefully when he gets back in, I'll be able to share some photos. But I did get a compliment this past week that was pretty cool and pretty outstanding. One of the people that I work with uh, at Hobby Lobby, no, I mean they noticed that I build a lot of models and everything, and they asked me what was my favorite kit and one of my favorite cars to build. And I'm like, well, I've got multiple kits, multiple builds that I like to build, and I've built multiple of them. But the one that I stands out the most is I like my 49 to 53 Fords, which is including the two Lindbergh ones, which is the convertible and the Victoria. And seeing as they're now under the AMT banner, I can completely include them as all AMTs. And he took and asked me what was the difference and what made them stand out. And I'm like, I just love the flathead motors. The design and the idea of the flathead was an outstanding feat, let alone how they work and how great of a product they were. So he's like, that's pretty cool. He's like, so how many uh, total have you built? And I'm like, well, I currently have about 10 to 12 in my current collection of models. But overall, I've probably built, I would say, 50 or 60 flathead motors. And that's including, flatheads with the Arden conversion. Um, I even did a flathead Ford with the other conversion. I forget who it was that was making it, but it was a resin setup. And I actually built that for a collector that was in my club, and he passed away. He was a very big Ford guy, and when he passed away, I was hoping to get it back because that's the only one I've ever worked on. But his wife sold the collection, his complete collection, to a gentleman, and I was never able to get the model, um, which upsets me a bit because it was a non-Arden head, flathead, and the work that went into it, the model by itself, besides the detail of the parts in which I was using, was just immaculately awesome. I mean, the valve, you had to actually put little pegs in, like if you're going to take and keep one of the heads, the valve covers off. Um, it was, to know that you would put that much detail into the kit was amazing. From my understanding, the guy who, or a person that made the resins and sold them, conversion kit, um, he charged arm and a leg, and he produced some. His total, I wouldn't know how many total, but it wasn't many. Hey, Frankie. But to know that I was able to work on something that wasn't a generally normal, um, and now with 3D printing, it if I could get my hands on what that guy, if even the kit that we used would be, because I could take it and have it, scanned or whatever and made into a 3D, so I could copy it. Um, I'm just a really big fan of the flatheads. That's why one of the reasons I want to get this finished as fast as possible without making a mess. and still having a completed build is because 3 of my builds that I've got going are flathead powered builds.
There is no try.
And one of them is, I wouldn't declare it a rat rod. I'd declare it more of a, what did I call rockabilly style. And it's a 53 Ford Victoria. And it's going to be hoodless. And I plan on building it with a lot of as much detail as I can. I've ordered parts from Shapeways. I'm getting the Arden head. I've ordered 3 sets of Arden heads, 2 sets of Arden intakes, because the Arden intake isn't like a normal intake like this. The Arden intakes come right out of the heads. So I call them direct flow intakes. I don't know the actual real name. But I also got a Scott blower for one. So we'll be doing a Scott blower version. But Victoria, excuse me, I plan on doing in a matte pearl white with I haven't decided the roof color, but I'm looking at either orange or blue. Most likely it'll probably be orange or pink. And sort of just that rockabilly, slammed on the ground, street rod, and really nice engine bay with that'll match the roof. And I may pattern the roof. Been trying to do some patterns and all that, and I've never gotten into it. So this is, of course, my try to do pattern. So. And but I enjoy flathead cars so much that it's just that's what I like building. So why not? Then another one of the projects that I plan on doing here in the very near future is the uh, 53 Ford convertible, but doing it lowrider style with You know, I may do graphics. I have not decided. I'm a very big uh, Lowrider Bomb fan, so haven't decided if I want to go full tilt. You know, all right. Oops. Time to make up some color. To give the fuel injection setup just a little bit of color. Ooh. Okay, now I'm jealous, Ron. You making me jealous. And I mean, didn't it sound beautiful? Have its own keynote to it or note as far as just the sound of that motor? Oh, I just I don't know. I when it comes to Arden and comes to flathead motors, I mean, flatheads have a particular sound all its own. But then you add in the Arden Hemi style heads, it's like some just I got no clue. Whoa, what happened to my aluminum? Yeah, I mean, I've watched some Bonneville recordings, and I mean, everybody's running all kinds of motors, all kinds of things, but just the sound of the Arden motor or a flathead motor just takes it to the next level. I mean, it's like it resonates. And I mean, I love all cars. I love motor sounds of all automobiles. But yeah, cool. But yeah, I have a shop that our dealership uses for um, just your normal basic work, and he has one of his friends that is got a flathead 34 Ford, and the motor's actually out of a 50 Ford pickup truck, and oh, that sound every single time, and I mean every single time I see that truck over there, or the car, not the truck, but the car, uh, and I think he's got a 30. I think he's got a truck with a flathead in it too. He's got some, his dad's got so many friends with so many weird vehicles. It's really cool, but you kind of have to you kind of forget who somebody is to but it every time I see the flatheads though, I'm over there like lightning. If you can tell, but a little bit of a different color for the actual fuel injection system. Got a hole on this side to bring the fuel line up to. So that look cool. Take the color, lid on it. I'm going to actually call this injection gray. I like to come up with my own colors just so I can keep track of things. And by how much I made up in here, that's more than enough to sit there and have for quite a few fuel injection pieces like that. So okay, now to figure out exhaust. I'm gonna be getting paint on the body and the interior this weekend, and have it finished. Hopefully, hoping to get the suspension done at least by the weekend. Doing a Curtis midget ride? Cool. I have yet to try that kit. Yeah. But I guarantee you like it. I've seen a few of them built. We had a guy at the Kansas City show built one. Really, really stood out. And it was one of them things that uh, was pretty cool. He went full detail, and I think I had like 6 or 7 photos of it. Really, really amazing build. Cool. That's the one thing is, and I appreciate how people go about it and how people do them, is they replicate, cars. I've replicated a few cars for people, and I tend to, think I did an okay job, but I never can judge. Some people are grateful for how you've built it. Some people, you know, um, I had one that I did for a person, and it was his mom and dad's truck from that they had when he was growing up, and they were over in England, and it was a Land Rover. A, the kits are kind of hard to find. B, they're a pain in the butt because they don't actually go together very well. And then from the pictures that we had, we thought it was like a green uh, or something like that. Well, when he showed it to his dad goes, "It wasn't green. It was black." I was like, "Oh, we got that completely wrong." So I had to take and redo it, and it didn't take long to redo it and get it painted. Used some automotive, scruffed it down, used some automotive uh, paint and primer, got it to a beautiful black. It was just kind of weird that the picture that we used was completely wrong. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's true, Frankie. Building with what you know is kind of, you know, really, really cool. Um, the thing is a lot of the cars that I know wholeheartedly and a whole lot more than anything, they don't make kits of. Um, One vehicle that they make, I mean, they make an S10, of course, but it's all four bangers. And you got to take the V6 out of the. I mean, they do have a V6 version, if I remember right. The round nose S10s kits. But if you have a four cylinder, you got to go get the four cylinder motor and out of the Blazer. And then what? All right, Ron. Um, but another car that I really like that they don't make in, well, the two cars that I really like, they don't make in a kit, but everybody screams for them, is the 78 to 81 Malibu two-door coupe and the Scion XD. Um, which over in Japan was Corolla hatch. And wonderful cars. I truly loved my XD more than you could shake a stick at. That it drove like a dream. It handled. It took care of me. Um, when I lost that vehicle, it was heartbreaking. I mean, don't granted, I love the car I've got now. I miss that one because one thing, it'd be paid off right now, and I mean completely paid off. Um, the only thing is, right now, it'd have probably 180 to 200,000 miles. One car that I had that they do make in scale. Oh, a Maverick Grabber. They make the Mavericks. Johan did. They've become a little bit pricey, but you can find one and then make a Grabber out of it. Uh, they did. It was actually AMT that made the 78 to 81 Malibu, but it was a four-door sedan, and it was in 1/32nd scale, I think it was. The only there's a couple people that have made them in resin. In fact, I have one of the resin ones here. Um, the only problem is my roof sunk on mine and had to have it fixed, and it is not completely fixed right. So, yeah, Mavericks have gotten high in price, but if I mean, our buddy Mr. Mini Dreams finds them at the show in uh, Kansas City. I've found them at Kansas City. Uh, I've got a couple laying around here somewhere. Um, just rebuilders that I found. But one car that I had that I can't believe I got it, but I did, was this. Late 70s, early 80s, Toyota Corolla, four-door. Get it more in the shot. Here we go. Um, I had an 82 for a short time. It's an Aoshima kit. And I'm going to give it the look that I had always wanted my car to have, but at that time in life when I had it, I didn't have the money or the want to do it. So DG, if you're on uh, Facebook, I just keep my eyes open on, some of the Facebook trade pages. Um, I know I seen one probably a month and a half ago, on one of the trade pages, and it went for I think like $20, 25 bucks, which is pretty reasonable considering most Mavericks and Comets, as far as those cars, go for two or three times that, sometimes four times that. So it was actually a kit. Uh, it wasn't a promo. I've seen promos go for good money too, but it was a kit. It was I forget who it was. I want to say it was the Don Nicholson one. It was something you don't, one of the ones you don't see very often, and I was blown away that it was so cheap. But I, I was waiting on a paycheck to come in, and because I had to pay other bills at the time, or else I would have bought it. Yeah, like Ron says, DG, uh, Hobby Heaven has a lot of classic kits, and always reasonable in price. And then um, as Frankie's saying, even the Vegas. Now, since I reissued the Drag Vegas as the Twister, and uh, I forget what the other one is. I've got more Twisters than I've got anything else. Um, the Vegas go for decent money, but the prices of the drag ones have come down. But the stock ones are extremely heavy duty. So one of the last Vegas that I looked at was a '74, and seeing I was born in '74, I tried to buy it, and next thing you know, it was gone, and The starting bid was $45, which I don't mind, for something that, I've been dreaming of buying, and not dreading, but dreaming of buying. And in less than 30 minutes, it was sold, and the bidding had gotten all the way up to $175. And to to me, I I just can't come across that thought process to charge or even pay $175 for a kit that, you got to think, back in 1974 it wasn't even more than $1 or more, just a few bucks. So but yeah, a couple of the things that I found. Trying to remember where I took and seen the last one that I looked at. Oh, it was at Kansas City this past uh, June. There's a gentleman who has uh, always had a booth there, and I thought, it's gonna be pretty reasonable because I've seen it in the early evening. Decided, okay, the next day I'm gonna take and see how much he wants and make an offer. And when I get there, I asked. He had We arrived before he got there, and when he arrived, I went over and talked to him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta have 200 for that." I was like, "Okay, can I take a look at it?" He goes, "Yeah, okay." So open it up, and it was started. And this is what bothers me about it is he wanted $200 for a started model that was missing parts. Um, Now the other two more reputable guys, one guy didn't have one, but the other guy did have one, and he was about $100, which isn't bad. I could have afforded that. I just didn't bother picking it up because I bought my AMT original 62 Chevy 2 Nova. And I put out $75 for. A model that I've been dreaming of having. Um, yes, it's a built up, but being a built up, it has. Somebody had put a Hemi in it, so I need to pull a Hemi out, fix the chassis, and I'm actually going to probably put an LS motor in it. Tell who to take a flying leap for the 62. Oh yeah, the guy for 200. Yeah, I told him, yeah, I don't think so. And the sad thing is, and I'm one of the guys that I'm friends with from one of the other clubs. I've watched buy tons and tons of models from the guy, and reasonably priced. And it's just this model was like was gold to him, and I was there's just no way. Here's the gas tank. Just be on the lookout, DG. I mean, there'll be plenty of kits out there. Um, a lot of guys, you know, um, man, I wish I knew what they're. Check out the Model Hut Sales Shack. Uh, www.thesalesshack.net. Brian Buster, um, he might have one at a reasonable price, and uh, he comes across some every so often. Good, good. Super cool guy and super cool stuff. Um, yeah, I haven't touched his paint yet. I plan on it in the near future. Yeah, I need to let things dry before I do anything more. Got the exhaust manifolds to go on next. Get them painted. Get the air cleaner put on. But I think I'm at a stopping point for tonight, at least for now, while everything's drying. And I think I'm going to take in bug out for a while. Um, Maybe be on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. So if not, I'll see you guys next week. And this is Bobblehead from the Bobblehead Scale Rod Shop. So I'm going to catch you later.